It's about the journey, as they say, not the destination. And if you blink, like Maul, you'll likely miss the most important lesson. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been 6 years since Twin Suns first aired, bringing with it a dramatic ending to one of the most interesting and fleshed out Siths to grace the screen. Kenobi! As mentioned up top, the journey is what brought us to this point. So let's dive straight in and revisit one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars. Be sure to leave your thoughts on this scene in the comments. From the very beginning, Kenobi and Maul were opposites, in every sense of the word. Both locked in this mirrorless journey, which concludes in the most subtle, yet shattering way possible. It begins with one in pain and ends with the other burdened by their past. At no stage is their pain equal, shared, or parallel. To better understand their final moments together in the desert, we must firstly look back at where it all began, and the all-important journey towards growth and grief. The future is not yet written. Grief, pain, and growth are central themes within Star Wars, and can be found at the centre of many central characters. It either defines their beginning, or brings about their eventual demise. Looking back at the final moments of the Phantom Menace, Kenobi looks on as his master faces off with Maul. Held back momentarily from the fight, Kenobi looks on, not only in hope, but also studying the situation, studying Maul, which we'll come back to later. Before the shield gates can open, Kenobi watches on as Maul delivers the final blow, killing Qui-Gonn. When Kenobi is finally released, he unleashes all of his suffering on Maul. As the fight draws to a conclusion, Maul finds himself in a victorious position, only for Kenobi to turn the tide, in the blink of an eye. Kenobi's victory over Maul in the desert all those years later can be directly linked back to this very moment. Grief, pain, and growth. By the time we arrive on the sands of Tatooine, Maul is mentally and physically still on Naboo, holding on to pain and suffering the consequences. As for Kenobi, well, the scene tells us exactly where Kenobi is and why. In hindsight, the duel is won before it begins. Maul, blinded by hate, sees Kenobi as nothing more than a weak, lost Jedi without purpose.
Look what has become of you, a rat in the desert.
To juxtapose this, Kenobi sees Maul and the moment exactly as it is.
Look what I have risen above.
The journey that led them both to this moment is reflected in the words they speak.
I have come to kill you, but perhaps it's worse to leave you here, festering in your squalor.
The rage Maul expresses,
and what do you have?
And the calmness with which Kenobi carries himself. Remember, back on Naboo during the final moments, it was Kenobi filled with rage and Maul who exuded calmness after killing Qui-Gonn. Between the duel on Naboo and their final meeting on the sands of Tatooine is the journey, and importantly, a key lesson. Kenobi embraced both. Maul only ever embraced his pain. One of the most fascinating facets of this scene is when Maul discovers why Kenobi is hiding in the far reaches of the galaxy on this desolate planet.
Why come to this place? Not simply to hide. Oh, you have a purpose here. Perhaps you are protecting something? No. Protecting someone.
At this stage, Kenobi is no longer bound to a code, the Jedi Code. He must do what must be done in order to protect Luke Skywalker. This makes Kenobi a very powerful force. Alongside this power and making Kenobi wiser than Maul, is the fact he's not bound to the pain of his master's death. He moved on and can rely on his memories of studying Maul's fight with Qui-Gonn to defeat Maul. Kenobi changes his stance to match that of his master's, which surprises Maul. And then, in many ways, the duel plays out as if this were like leading the lamb to the slaughter. Kenobi pities Maul in the same way he pitied Vader. Maul, in the arms of Kenobi, finds comfort and solace in both defeat.
Tell me, is it the chosen one?
And death.
He is.
He will avenge us.
Although extremely powerful with the Force, this meant very little for Maul's chances. When his everlasting pain and suffering meant he never truly left behind the past and the events that transpired on Naboo. Kenobi, who arguably suffered far worse, learned to let go of his pain.
Goodbye, Darth.
He grew beyond his suffering. Kenobi became at peace with the past. It's about the journey, as they say, not the destination. And if you felt the fight was over in the blink of an eye, then like Darth Maul, you may have just missed the most important lesson. I hope you enjoyed revisiting this scene with me. Be sure to always tell me in the comments which scene you'd like to see revisited on the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for all our Star Wars adventures. And may the Force be with you.